Here's your challenge. Watch and listen to a short musical blurb or pattern, and then describe what you heard with numbers only. No letters allowed. Also, no reading allowed. This is not written down anywhere. Just watch, listen, and describe with numbers. Like this. Watch and listen. Now, the musical pattern will also have a key change or modulation built into the end of it. So, after you've described it, you can try playing it all the way around the circle of perfect fifths and hopefully end back up where you started. All right, now let's describe this with numbers, shall we? It's clearly built on the natural minor scale. So, in the bass, we have 1, 6, 4, 3, and 2. But that 2 is also going to be the 5 of the new key. That's that modulation or that key change that we talked about. So the old 2 is the same as the new 5 or dominant chord, which is going to lead us to the new tonic where we can start the whole thing over. Now up here in the right hand, we've got the melody 1, but I'm going to call it 8 for now because we will be using the lower 1 later. So 8, 5, 6, 4, 5, 3, 4, 2. And then we'll just repeat all of that. And then we're going to play it a third time, but the third time, the last 4 is sharp. It's a sharp 4 because it's part of that new dominant 7th chord that's going to lead us to the new tonic. It's part of the modulation. Also, we'll be playing that degree number 1 in between each melody note just to kind of give it that cool, sad, scary movie sound. And the left hand will come up and help out with the melody whenever it's not down playing a really low bass note. Now, once you understand the pattern, feel free to try playing it all the way around the circle of perfect fifths like this. As you go, feel free to shift octaves whenever you feel it's necessary. By the way, it's not super important to stress playing every single note exactly the same way in every key. It's much more important to just make sure that you communicate the melody and the harmony in a recognizable way. There's a reason we're not reading from a score here. So I have a program called the Improvisational Bootcamp, and I use it with my early advanced students, and it trains them to be equally comfortable thinking, playing, and creating in any key at any time. And when they graduate that program, we start this activity from time to time, where I give them a short musical blurb or pattern, and it has a built-in modulation at the end, and they have to describe it to me with numbers, no letter names allowed. And the next week they show me that they can play it all the way around the circle of perfect fifths, and I love it. I love the brain workout of it, because I always tell them, listen, there's no such thing really as a hard key or an easy key. There are only keys that you are not as familiar with. Now, to be fair, a student who maybe learned in a reading first method may have been trained to just memorize an arbitrary list of sharps or flats in each key, and obviously it would feel harder to them if there are more of them. But that's why it's important to think in numbers and not just letters, because mathematically, all keys are exactly the same. They just start in different places. It is impossible for one key to inherently be harder than another one. And the more you learn the math and the patterns and the chords and the intervals that are common to all keys, the easier it is to move between them effortlessly. And maybe another time I'll talk about how and why I think practice can and should have a random element. That's a thought provoker. But I have a bunch of cool little patterns like this that I show students, and they each have a key change at the end of them. And it's really fun to see students come back the next week and play it all the way around the circle for me. And along the way, we get to discuss all these awesome little cheat codes that composers use to change keys in their music. And it's really fun to see them turn around and use those techniques in their own projects. And that's all I'll say for now. Maybe you'll come back later and try playing along with this video if you can or want to. That would be fun. And in the comments, let me know. How do you train your students that there's no such thing as a hard key?